I'll be relatively short. I work for the Faculty of Management. I also work with the study group at the International Study Center. And I'm also a student at Royal Roads doing a master's in leadership. So I have lots of different experiences with teamwork at Royal Roads. The program I'm going to talk about today is the Bachelor's of Business Administration in Sustainability and International Business. The basic program runs very similar to the hospitality program. There are team coaches that work in residence with the incoming students to develop those skills. There are a number of team projects that take various forms. A lot of them are centered around cases, problem-based learning assignments. But I had an opportunity with the new VBA program to do something a little different, and so this is what I wanted to talk about today. Sure I know how to use this. A couple of comments about the VBA program. It's already an interesting partnership because it does reflect the Royal Roads partnership with Study Group. This is one of the feeder programs for the Year 1, Year 2 program with the international students. And it's one of the few places on campus where Canadian and international students are really together in the classroom. And so it's a really exciting opportunity for some really interesting teamwork that not only has to deal with just the regular functioning of teams, but the diversity of teams, right, and the diversity of people on the teams. And in fact, I've just finished working as a team coach with the incoming BCom programs, and a number of the study group students have actually graduated into the BCom program as well. And so that classroom is incredibly diverse, and that adds some really interesting dynamics, challenges, and rewards for the learning of the students. So just some general comments, but very exciting. This is actually just a picture from the residents last week. The students are doing the marshmallow challenge, if folks have ever come across that. And we're talking about different approaches to problem solving. Anyway, the deeper point here is that my background is actually in experiential education, and in particular outdoor education. And so I spent 30 years working with groups and on teams. I've written a number of books. All my books are written collaboratively, for example. I always work with at least one other instructor in the classroom, for example. I'm always embedded in these learning experiences. And so for 5 years, I've been working at Royal Roads. And one of the things that I've been trying to figure out how to do is to take some of that learning that I have from my professional life into the classroom here. And one of the things that I've really struggled with is this idea of role modeling. How do we model teamwork for the students in the classroom? We talk about teamwork, it's a requirement. We often act as a CEO, and I think that's very realistic. But what examples can we set for the student, and how can we build that into the program is what I was trying to address. And so when I had an opportunity to design one course for the new VBA program, the Foundation Management Skills course, which is a combination of communication, critical thinking, and argumentation, that sort of basic package of just functioning as a student at a university program, I spent a lot of time thinking about how I could take the values of sustainability, international business, and indeed teamwork and pull them into that classroom. Obviously, that poses all kinds of interesting questions and challenges. I don't, even begin to assume that I have, the answer, but I thought I would share that story with you just to show you how that might work. So the course that I designed is part of the residency of the program. And in addition to taking the course on the left, the Foundation Management Skills, which is the course that I was designing and teaching, they're also taking the Foundations of International Business and Sustainability. So I thought this was a great opportunity. They're taking two courses at the same time. So there's an opportunity to work collaboratively, not only with the students, but at the level of the instructors and the programming, right? It was built into the program. There's a natural synergy between these two courses. So it seemed like an opportunity that I couldn't give up. And so we did a number of different things. Oops, I'm going to go back here, sorry. For example, because I'm teaching communication and critical thinking, and they have to use those skills in the other course, what I did with the other instructor was identify a couple of core readings that he really wanted the students to understand, and I pulled those readings into my course, and I used them as examples for critical thinking and for reflection. And so they're reading that material with me in week 1 and using it in week 2 with the other instructor, right? So the students are meeting that material twice, and it also reduces their workload. one of the issues that we face with international students is just English comprehension, right? And some of them function at a high level and some of them function at lower levels. But this is an opportunity to have to do the assignment or the reading assignment once, not twice, right? And it, again, shows that there's this collaboration at a structural level, right? They see the same reading in both courses. They're like, well, is it a different reading? No, it's the same reading. And you do it for me in week 1 and you do it for the other course in week 2. Oh, well, that's a good idea. Yes, you know, it makes sense. And again, because these courses are offered simultaneously, of course, that's possible. And then this simple sharing runs through to the final week of this, or the final week of this residency, where they actually have a final assignment that they have to submit. And in fact, they submit the same written assignment twice, once to me and once to the other instructor at the same time. My outcomes are completely different, right? I mark the assignment based on their ability to actually communicate effectively in writing and to structure and support an effective argument, right? And so those are my learning outcomes. Those are my criteria, completely separate assessment criteria. The other instructor is marking it for the content, right? For the actual application of course material to the assignment. So there was an opportunity, again, to build some synergy. This, of course, all runs through curriculum committee. There's no issue with different outcomes. It's entirely reasonable to assign the same assignment twice. It doesn't violate any, you know, code of ethics or plagiarism or anything at the university. It's a perfectly legitimate way to do this. This collaboration will continue. I get these students again in January, and again then I think in March. And so taking this idea of collaboration and coordination a step further, moving into this week in January, they're working on a live case, right? So it's problem-based learning, and they're going to apply all their communication and critical thinking skills, but they're also going to have to work with case analysis and problem-solving skills. And again, this is another opportunity. So what I'm doing is I'm supporting their learning on the case. I'm not responsible for content. All I'm focusing on is their ability to problem solve and then to think critically and communicate around that problem. But what we're doing is coordinating with the Office of Sustainability at Royal Roads. This is a course that includes sustainability as part of its core mandate, right? And Royal Roads has an Office of Sustainability. It makes sense to go and talk to the Office of Sustainability, right? We want to make this real. So we are engaging with the wider community in a way. But then talking with Nancy Wilkins at the Office of Sustainability and talking about this idea of sustainability, ecological footprint, and some of the big themes of the course, we realized that Royal Roads has a footprint, right? And part of its sort of community obligation is the maintenance of the Esquimalt Lagoon, right? This is a big part of the waterfront and one of the great reasons why many students choose to come here. Well, there is the Esquimalt Lagoon Stewardship Initiative, right? So this is a group, a community group, volunteer group that looks after the lagoon. And so we're working with the Office of Sustainability and with the Esquimalt Lagoon Stewardship Initiative to define a case. And so the students are actually going to go and get a tour of the lagoon. They're going to work with the Stewardship Initiative to work through this case. They're going to apply sustainability concepts and content that they're learning in the other course to this case, and I'm going to support them in their problem solving, critical thinking, and then their communication piece. And so they have a week-long residency that is essentially seamless. They're not going to be taking separate courses, right? All of this is going to be happening concurrently in real time. I think we're each going to have one sort of hour-and-a-half long class with the students separately, but the rest of the week, they're not going to know what class they're in. And again, their assignment is going to be marked. The communication and critical thinking and problem-solving piece will be marked by me, and that'll be their grades, and then the content piece gets marked by the other instructor. And then this same pattern will continue in the third semester. I'm not 100% sure which. I have a bunch of ideas we're working on still, but we're going to see which actually comes to fruition. Anyway, the idea here is to look at how we model this behavior. We expect our students to behave in certain ways in groups. And the way that the university is structured, it's really hard to model that behavior for the students. We don't get an opportunity to work with other instructors in the classroom very often, for example. So I just really wanted to reflect on how I could bring those values into the classroom for the students. I had a great opportunity here. And I would encourage you to look for those kinds of opportunities as well. You know, we expect our students to play well in the sandbox. We expect them to share their ideas and share their toys. Well, you know what? We should be doing that too. And doing it in front of the students is my point. So, thank you.
Man of his word. Very nice, thank you.